Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. Cunha set for his medical this week, says terms are agreed with Wolves. Bruno close to Al Hilal. Amorim, what he told Garnacho when he told him to leave. We've got some Hojlund exit news, Ekitike links, loads to go through. I'm Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So obviously the first sign-in for the summer, we know we've already had the famous here we go for Matheus Cunha. So let's run through the updates regarding that. So Manchester United have met the terms of Matheus Cunha's release clause and have been given permission to finalise the transfer. Cunha now has permission to undergo his medical. So that came from Ben Jacobs, who kind of broke this news first. I always like to shout out the journalists just so that we can build a bit of a understanding of the credibility and stuff like that as well, because I want this channel to be more about debunking the bollocks rather than just bringing you the news and spouting kind of BS behind it as well. So shout out to Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs actually been fairly decent with the Matheus Cunha news. He was the one kind of pushing on the deal, so he's clearly got the inside track regarding that. And then David Ornstein confirmed it as well. So Wolverhampton Wanderers have given forward Matheus Cunha to undergo a medical at Manchester United ahead of a proposed summer move. Club-to-club talks between United and Wolves, where Cunha has a £62.5 million release clause, were opened on Tuesday. United have now met the terms of Cunha's contract at Molineux and will now seek to complete the transfer of the Brazilian. There had been optimism that agreeing a payment structure will be a formality, with Cunha's contract outlining that a transfer fee is paid across 3 instalments, the first lump sum upon signing and then a further 2 equal shares over the next 2 years, although United had sought to make the payment over 5 years rather than 2. So this broke probably about half an hour to an hour after David Ornstein and a few other kind of places were saying that United had a bid rejected by Wolves. What Ornstein was saying is that we went to Wolves and said, yeah, can we pay the instalments in 5 years instead of 3 years? And Wolves rejected that offer. So United then have obviously just said, yeah, okay, well, we'll pay the 3 instalments instead of the 5 instalments that we were kind of hoping to get done as well, because obviously that helps us with the budget, but it hasn't gone through. So all things, so deal agreed now. So we know we've got personal terms, we've got the here we go, everything on that in terms of Matheus Cunha. Now we know we've agreed the deal with Wolves, just his medical to go, and then he's going to be a Man United player as well. So smash a like on the video if you're excited to see Matheus Cunha at Old Trafford next season. During negotiations with Manchester United, Matheus Cunha demanded the number 10 shirt. It is expected his wish will be granted. Matheus Cunha sees himself as a protagonist and will relish the pressure of being United's number 10. That came from Alex Crook as well, and I do think he's got that kind of self-belief, that kind of mentality where he's like similar to what Casemiro did in a way, where he's like, I want to come to United because I want to help kind of fix them. And I think he's kind of shown that in the way, because he's had other clubs interested in him that are in the Champions League as well, and the fact that he wants to come ahead of those, I do think is actually another tick in the box for Matheus Cunha as well. But I'm quietly confident that he's going to be a really good sign. Obviously, you don't know though until you put on a shirt. But I think, like, in terms of risk, because every transfer has a risk behind them, right? You don't know what you're getting with any player. There's no player out there that you can sign that is 100% guaranteed to work at United, because we've seen in the past that the shirt, the pressure, everything like that as well can weigh heavy upon people as well. But I think with Matheus Cunha, you're literally ticking all the boxes that you can. The only thing is, until he's on the pitch, you don't know fully, but you don't know fully with any kind of signing as well. So I do think he's so I'm quietly confident. I think he's going to be a really, really good signing for us as well. So, but let's wait and see what kind of happens. Now, in terms of salary, so the Telegraph is saying that Matheus Cunha is expected to go from a salary of £120,000 a week to around £200,000 a week as well, which is, it's a big kind of wage, big outlay for a player. But obviously we're in a position where we might have to pay top dollar to get the top players as well. And from a jump from where he is to where he is now, it's not actually too bad, I don't think. If he was like on 20 grand a week and we're giving him 200 grand a week, that's insane money for me. But if he's on 120, I think I've read somewhere £150,000 a week or something like that at Wolves, and then you're taking him up, it's not the worst kind of contract. And obviously we know we've got wiggle room for contracts as well, because Eriksen, Lindelof and Johnny Evans are all leaving as well. So you've got some wiggle room with with wages there as well. And Matheus Cunha believes Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and regardless of interest from other clubs, he wants to play for United. So again, just another big tick in the box for me. I like players that kind of have that mentality and that attitude and actually want to come to United. So fair play to Matheus Cunha for that as well. I just hope he kind of replicates his form at Wolves. In fact, I hope he can get better than what we were seeing at Wolves as well, which I think he can, because of what sort of, he's created a lot of chances for others that haven't been buried as well, that haven't been put in the back of the net. And I just do think sometimes you get better quality around a player as well, and they're still doing the things that they're doing, then, I do think he's got that kind of step up to potentially take as well, which would be massively exciting. But give us your thoughts. Matheus Cunha, there are rumours that may be medical by the end of this week, which will be typical, right? I guarantee what's going to happen. It'll be Friday or Saturday. And I'll tell you the reason why, because I'm away this weekend. So just FYI, I won't be doing any updates on Friday and Saturday. I might be back Sunday to see if there's anything. And every time I'm away or every time I'm at work and I can't do like an update video, something major happens. So I'm a bit of a jinx in terms of, or a good jinx where something that happens. So I'm preparing myself for something to happen Friday or Saturday, just purely based on my own jinxness. That normally when I'm away or I can't do an update, something kind of happens. So let's wait and see if my curse continues with not being around to bring you any updates when something major kind of breaks. But yeah, Matheus Cunha is getting very, very close. It's just the medical, and then we'll have all the official kind of photos and announcements and stuff like that as well. So, but yeah, give us your thoughts on that in the comments. Now, another deal that could be close is Bruno Fernandes. So Al Hilal have given Bruno Fernandes a take it or leave it offer, £700,000 week tax free. Whole package is £200 million over 3 years. If he accepts, and Al Hilal is ready to make a formal bid worth £100 million to Manchester United. So Chris Wheeler coming out again saying that Al Hilal have given Bruno Fernandes a take it or leave it offer. The 72-hour deadline has kind of come back around as well. So this is 72 hours after he already had 72 hours to make a kind of decision. But according to Chris Wheeler, take it or leave it offer. They want a decision by Thursday, I think it is. And it's weird, the Bruno Fernandes situation, because I'll go through some of Amorim's quotes and stuff in a second regarding him. Obviously, he wants him to stay, but the rumours haven't been put to bed. And sometimes the silence is deafening, I think, regarding the Bruno Fernandes situation. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that one. Al Hilal have made a final offer to Bruno Fernandes of £700,000 a week plus bonuses and want an answer by Thursday. That came from Ben Jacobs, and Ben Jacobs can be hit and miss, but he's normally decent when it comes to like Saudi Pro League kind of transfer news and stuff. And then this kind of journalist is apparently a very reliable journalist for Al Hilal. Now, I do not know that personally. Bruno Fernandes is very close to move to Al Hilal club. Now, I've done some more digging online because that was reposted by some aggregator accounts and some kind of people online. Apparently that might have been debunked, so I'm gonna say take that with a pinch of salt for now, because I'd want to see a bit more credibility. But apparently, and I don't speak Arabic, so I don't know the actual. I'm just going off of the translations from Twitter, the Google translations on it as well. Apparently, he's kind of come out effectively saying that's not what he said. He was just asked a question of who he thinks might be close to Al Hilal, and he said Bruno, Inzaghi, and Osimhen are the three that are more linked, is what he was kind of saying, I think. So we'll need to wait and kind of see what's happening regarding that as well. But again, the silence is deafening regarding Bruno. You would have thought, with all the kind of noise around it, maybe if he was staying, the club would have, if he was 100% staying, the club would have kind of put it to bed by now, or Bruno maybe himself would have kind of come out and said something. So we need to pay attention to that and keep an eye on it, because they obviously already give him a 72-hour deadline, and now they've extended it by another 72 hours. So does that mean he's a bit more time to think about it? Who knows? But we'll bring you any updates when it comes through. Now, Amorim on Bruno himself confirms his intention to keep Bruno. He said, for sure, Bruno takes responsibility. He's really important for us. He's really important also for what we want to build with this team. So that was in the pre-match press conference ahead of the friendly today in Malaysia, where effectively, so we know Amorim wants to keep Bruno. We don't know Bruno. I think it's down to Bruno. I think it's entirely down to Bruno. Does he want to stay and be part of the rebuild again once he's already been told and promised that we're rebuilding? And it's never really happened for him in his time at United, because we've always stopped a rebuild because we've sacked a manager and then started again. Or £700,000 plus bonuses a week, £200 million total package. When someone's waving that sort of money at you, it's going to turn your head a little bit as well. But we'll keep an eye on it. Give us your thoughts. So would you sell Bruno, keep him? Let us know in the comments below. Obviously, it'd be a massive boost to our budget, though, if we did sell Bruno for £100 million, because he would represent pretty much pure profit because of his book value and the PSR kind of rules as well. And then again, going back to the kind of source, could potentially be very close to joining Al Hilal if that source is to be believed, but again, I would take that with a pinch of salt. But just on the budget, Manchester United's budget this summer is around £125 million plus whatever money the club can raise through player sales. So that came from Chris Wheeler in the Mail, and it's not the first time we've heard United have any budget around 100 million, because I get read your comments, replied to some of your comments yesterday regarding Ruben Amorim's kind of press conference and what he was saying on the budget. So we'll go through that. So Omar Barada can explain better than this. Is when he was asked directly if not being in Champions League, how it kind of affects the budget and his transfer plans. So he said, Omar can explain better than I can. We always prepare two plans, one with Champions League and one without. Without the Champions League, we don't need a large squad. We can control the squad better. And then we have to have a plan to bring in new players, of course. But our goal is to improve the squad we have and improve our academy. There won't be many changes because we have the FFP rules and we're not allowed to do many things this summer. It's important to stay united. We're going to have difficulties. Everything won't be perfect right away, but I see the team improving, and that's the most important thing as well. So, it's obviously Ruben Amorim, and this is just my opinion on this, right? Ruben Amorim is a very honest guy. So I believe the words that he's kind of saying, because he's never come out and told a lie or ducked away from any kind of questions. In fact, one of his downfalls is probably the fact that he's too honest when it comes to his kind of thoughts and opinions as a Manchester United manager, coming out, saying we're the worst team in history, which is true. And us as fans can say it, but is that good for your manager to come out and say, not entirely, I don't know. But we've heard that that's exactly the same as every single manager says every single transfer window. Ten Hag was saying the same things last season. PSR, we've got to reply by PSR rules and stuff, and we still spent £100 million net. It's the same the season before. It's the same rhetoric that every manager says. Do I think we're going to get 20 players and every single player that we're linked with? No, definitely not. And do I think we've got like a crazy £500 million budget or something ridiculous like that? No, definitely not. But we already know we've got about £100 million. Going back to Chris Wheeler's report, he's saying £125 million plus sales because we've bought Cunha, so we've got the money for Cunha. We've told Ipswich we're happy to pay the release clause for Liam Delap, so that's £30 million, straight away. And we're talking to Mbumo as well. Now, you don't do that if you don't have the cash. What I think we've got is like a sort of pot of money, like £120 million if you go off of Chris Wheeler's report. And then beyond that, it's sell to buy. And that's cool. That's the same every season now with PSR rules. We have to sell players to buy players. But I think this summer particularly, we might be in a good position to sell a lot of players because we've got Garnacho. We'll go through some updates on him in a second. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony. And then we've mentioned Eriksen's going, Evans, Lindelof, all off the wage books as well. So there is wiggle room. It's just how quickly can we do those deals? How much money are we going to get from those deals? And then who's available for the sort of prices that we've got is where I think we're going to have to be a little bit clever in the transfer window. Bayinda might go, and then we bring in a goalkeeper. So beyond that, so we have money at least to get Cunha and Delap because we bid for them. So we know we've got the cash available to do that. Anything beyond that, though, might be down to sales. And that's just, that's how it is. And we obviously would, like I said, we're not going to get every single player that we're linked with because that's insane. The volume of players that we're linked with. There's going to be a couple more I'm going to mention in today's video as well. But yeah, just wanted to kind of share that and respond to a few of the comments that everyone's saying around the press conference. I hear the words, it is worrying, but it's the same rhetoric that I've heard. And if, like, in one hand, yes, we are going to be kind of restricted, but we've already got money to go and buy Cunha and Delap. And then that's without sales. And then if you get these sales done, then we're still going to have some money to kind of bring in as well. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now let's move on to some Garnacho. This came out from Chris Wheeler in the Mail again, saying that Ruben Amorim warned Alejandro Garnacho to pray he can find a new club this summer, as he effectively kicked the player out of Manchester United in front of his teammates. Amorim was so angry that he effectively told Garnacho to hope to God he can find another club, rather than have to return to United for pre-season training at the start of July. So Ruben Amorim's absolutely lost it on Garnacho, and effectively told him to. We knew that anyway as well, but told him to pray he can find a new club in the summer. That's pretty kind of mad as well. And I've shared my thoughts on Garnacho and stuff. You know what I mean? I just don't like the fact, like, why is it United that always have to air our dirty laundry? Why can this stuff not be kept in-house? Like, it might just be me because I don't follow any other team news, or I don't follow, like, transfer news from other clubs and stuff as well. Generally don't pay too much attention to it as well. But I've never sort of heard these sort of stories that we always hear at United around the players and, the stuff behind the scenes. And like, I generally like, am I wrong? Because again, you might follow more kind of news from other clubs than me. Is that sort of stuff happening at other clubs? Because I don't see it, if it is happening. And that just pisses me off, the fact that we always have to air our dirty laundry, and it kind of comes out as well. But clearly a relationship breakdown. Again, more will come out in the wash as to why, what happened, and bits as well. But obviously it's a relationship breakdown, and Garnacho's going to go in the summer. Romano was saying that it's both parties want to part ways as well, that Garnacho wants to leave and Amorim wants him to go, and it is what it is. And we just hope we get good value for him as well. When stories like this do not help us get good value for him as well, in my opinion. But that's why I don't like us airing our dirty laundry around. But it is what it is. United are the news, so it makes headlines, so maybe there's just more attention to this, or more people digging for this sort of information. Maybe it's something to do with that. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, another player we're looking to kind of remove is Marcus Rashford. So Barcelona have had recent contacts regarding Marcus Rashford. He's a player that both Deco and Hansi Flick really like. It's a track that's still alive. Now, that came from Matteo, who's a very credible source of information, works with Romano, was ahead of Romano in terms of some stories and transfer news in January as well, suggesting that Barcelona have had recent contacts with Rashford. Deco and Hansi Flick like him as well. Apparently, they might be going for Luiz as well, so it might be a toss-up between Luiz and Rashford for Barcelona. We know Rashford would preferred destination is Barcelona. We know that they were interested in him in January as well, but couldn't get the budget or couldn't get the funds because Fati stayed at Barcelona. Had Fati been sold, they would have taken Rashford on loan. So we need to kind of keep an eye. I just want a quick resolution to the Rashford situation as well. I just want a quick resolution because I don't want that dragging on all summer. And then obviously it does help with PSR because of his wages off the book as well. But actually, I don't think we're going to earn that much money from Marcus Rashford because of his contract, because we're going to have to pay off some of his contract. So if we get £40 million, for example, the belief is we might have to give Rashford 20 million of that or around that, and then we only pocket £20 million. But getting that wages off the book will be massive with PSR as well. But I just hope for a quick resolution with the Rashford deal, because it can't be done with that saga all summer. So let's just hope something kind of quick happens regarding it. But give us your thoughts on Rashford in the comments. Now, another player we might be looking to move on is Hojlund. So there is a total approval at Inter about a move for Hojlund. His wage demands of around €4 million would be within reach of Inter, who would be keen to land the striker on an initial loan plus option to buy. Now, that came from Inter Live. Inter Live I've never found to be the most credible, so I would say let's take that with a pinch of salt for now. But we have had other reports, mainly from Italy, suggesting that, in fact, Romano has said keep an eye on Italian clubs and Hojlund this summer. And we have had links with Inter Milan before as well, from more credible kind of places as well. Loan with an option to buy, and the belief is because his salary is quite low, it might be a deal that we kind of do. His book value, we need just under £40 million, I think it is, for Hojlund for a sale as well. So, does a loan with an option to buy next season kind of help? And then hopefully, who knows, he might go away, find his form again, and then come back off of loan. I do think a loan with an option to buy is probably realistic for Hojlund if we are looking to remove him or to kind of maybe send him out on loan just to find his confidence in that again, because he needs it. Who knows? But we'll pay attention to it for you and bring you any updates when they come out. Now, in Now, in terms of other strikers, Manchester United are preparing a serious bid to sign Eintracht Frankfurt forward Hugo Ekitike this summer. Old Trafford Chiefs have said to have held positive discussions with Ekitike's representatives already and are preparing to launch a serious pursuit as they look to bolster Ruben Amorim's front line with a new number 9, while Frankfurt is said to be keen to retain Ekitike for another season. They have not ruled out a sale and would entertain offers in the region of 80 to 90 million euros, which is 67 to 75 million pounds. And that came from Gimme Sport. Now, Gimme Sport have some decent, credible journalists working for them. They have some not so credible journalists working for them. Now, this came from one of their not so credible journalists. So again, I would say take that story with a pinch of salt. I think he's outside slightly of our kind of budget and our price range as well, unless we do get sales, unless Bruno goes, for example, because Bruno going gives us a lot more play and wiggle room in terms of budget for the summer. And then with Garnacho's kind of sale as well, that's going to give us loads more wiggle room as well. So maybe I think it's a risk with Ekitike though as well. I think he's a good player, good striker, had a really good season. 48 appearances, 22 goals and 12 assists, nothing to be kind of sniffed at. It's just, and this is just my opinion, I'd take him if he kind of came, but I don't know what it is, but signing players that have had a good season in the Bundesliga just scares me now with the amount of players that we've kind of bought in that situation, like Shinji Kagawa, Mkhitaryan, Jadon Sancho, just to name a few. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a little bit kind of worried about buying players that have had one good season in the Bundesliga for a lot of money for those reasons. And that's just me being cynical and probably being a bit of a dickhead about it, because he is a good player. I just that scares me. That's my only kind of worry as well. And then obviously, I don't know if we've got the money available to kind of quite do that as well. But like I said, maybe if we get some sales and we don't get Delap, then maybe that's plausible kind of transfer. But I'd want to see way more credibility than where it came from. So we'll take it with a pinch of salt for now. But he is on the name of strikers that we have been linked with by more credible people in the past as well. But like I said, we know that our number 1 striker target is Liam Delap. Just on Liam Delap actually as well, the news on that is there's loads of reports coming out, but it's just basically the same. Some are saying that United are ahead of the race, and some are saying Chelsea are ahead of the race. Newcastle and Everton have also made bids as well. And there's not really any significant updates regarding Delap, so I haven't bothered bringing anything to you, because it's just this person saying it's Chelsea and this person saying it's United, and we're like, well, okay, brilliant. Let's quickly fly through the rest of the transfer news. So Manchester United are assessing their option at the back. Jared Branthwaite remains a long-term interest. So Rich Fay is actually quite decent with United, saying that we are, looking for maybe centre backs and that Jared Branthwaite, but yeah, it just feels like I've gone back a year in time getting linked and talking about Jared Branthwaite. But to be fair, if Everton had accepted our offer, he would be a Man United player now. So there are people at the club that like him. Is the centre-back position the priority, though? I don't know what fee Everton would want for him now as well. So too many kind of question marks regarding that one. But we'll wait and see how it kind of develops. It would make sense for us to be interested in Branthwaite, considering we almost signed him last summer. But is the centre-back position the priority now? Because obviously, Aiden Heavens come through. Who knows? We've got Martinez coming back, hopefully sometime at the beginning of next season. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what kind of happens. And Manchester United lead in the chase for highly rated Southampton centre-back Harley Emsden-James, and could sign the teenager for £1 million in compensation. That came from the Mail. Very highly regarded young centre-back from Southampton. Obviously, Jason Wilcox knows him from his time there as well, and is apparently the driving force behind this one as well. This goes back to Amorim's comments where he's saying, look, we want to improve the kind of the youth team, and to do that, getting more players, more talented young players in is good. £1 million compensation, not the end of the world. So I do like the fact that we are starting to stack up some really, really good, promising young players in the kind of youth team. Obviously, Diego Leon's going to be coming this summer as well. We'll see what he's about. So and to add to like Chidowobi, Siku Kone, James Overy, all these kind of other players as well. So stacking them up in there is good, because that's the best way to either get cheap players into the first team, or the best way to make money on sales is to bring in these young players, develop them, and then if they're not quite good enough, sell them, because it's good for PSR rules as well. So I don't have an issue with us going for these sort of players. But I'll bring you any updates when they come out. Give us your thoughts on that in the comments. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you in the next one.